Summary of Personal Independence Assessment, the Second Independent Review. A Call for Evidence. Introduction. Paul Gray has been commissioned to undertake a second independent review of how PIP assessment is working. This is required by Section 89 of the Welfare Reform Act 2012. The report will be laid before Parliament. 1. About this call for evidence, CFE. Aimed at individuals and organisations who may be able to provide information on how well PIP is operating. Everyone's views are welcome, so please provide as much evidence as you can on the questions asked in this document. Answer the questions which are relevant to you. The CFE will help inform the review, and the independent reviewer will then make recommendations to the Secretary of State. The consultation applies to England, Wales and Scotland. The CFE period is the 11th of July to the 16th of September 2016 at 5 p.m. 2. How to respond. Complete the online form. If you are someone who has claimed PIP for yourself or someone else, you can go to the web link. If you are a person or organisation with a professional interest in PIP, you can go to the web link. The web link, email address and postal information is here. www.gov.uk/personal-hyphen-independence-pip-hyphen-assessment-review-call-for-response Email pip.independentreview@dwp.gsi.gov.uk Post PIP Independent Review Team, Department for Work and Pensions, Floor 4, Caxton House, Tothill Street, London SW 1H 9NA. We will acknowledge receipt of your responses. Any queries about this CFE, please contact the PIP Review Team. The contact details are the same as previously shown. 3. How we will use the information. Information may be passed to colleagues within DWP, published in a summary of responses, and referred to in the published report. All information may be subject to publication or disclosure if requested under the Freedom of Information Act 2000. By providing information, it is understood that you consent to its disclosure and publication. If not, then limit personal information or remove it completely. If you want information to remain confidential, then explain in your response, although we cannot guarantee this. Contact the FOI team for more information about how general principles are applied in DWP. Post Freedom of Information Team, Caxton House, 6 to 12 Tothill Street, London SW1H 9NA. Email freedom-of-information-request@dwp.gsi.gov.uk. 4. Introducing Personal Independence Payment. The last government changed disability living allowance for people aged 16 to 64 years old to a benefit called Personal Independence Payment. PIP helps towards some of the extra costs that result from a long-term condition. It is based on how a person's condition affects them, not the condition they have. It is not means-tested or subject to tax, and is payable to people who are both in and out of work. PIP is made up of two components. 1, daily living component, and 2, mobility. Each component has two rates: a standard rate and an enhanced rate. If a claimant is entitled to PIP, they will get one or both components. The components people receive depend on how their condition affects them. PIP started to replace DLA for eligible people aged 16 to 64 from the 8th of April 2013 for new claims. In July 2015, the Department commenced full rollout, a phased reassessment of all remaining DLA working age recipients for PIP. (5) The first independent review of PIP. The first PIP independent review was published on the 17th of December 2014. It focused on three main areas: improving claimant experience, clarifying and improving the collection of further evidence, and assuring the fairness and consistency of PIP award outcomes. Recommended short-term improvements, for example, to communications and letters. Longer-term improvements focused on more integrated, digitally enabled claims process to improve claimant experience. Improvement to the collection of further evidence. Implementing evaluation strategy on the effectiveness of PIP assessments. The government provided two responses which accepted the majority of the recommendations. 6. The second independent review of PIP. Paul Gray was appointed as independent reviewer in July 2016. This review will be laid before Parliament by April 2017 in accordance with the Act, and will look at the use of IT, speed and effectiveness of how we gather evidence during the assessment process, data sharing within DWP and across government, and how PIP assessment is shared with other organisations to improve health and care services. How effectively further evidence is being used to assist the correct claim decision. Build on recommendations from the first review. Questions. Answer the set of questions depending on whether A. You are an individual who has claimed PIP for yourself or on someone's behalf. B. You are an individual or organisation with a professional interest in the PIP process. Questions for individuals who claimed PIP for themselves or on someone's behalf. About you. 1. Are you responding as someone who has claimed PIP for yourself, a friend, carer or family member, acting on behalf of someone claiming PIP? Prefer not to say? 2. From where else do you, or the person receiving PIP, receive support to help manage their condition? A GP, a hospital doctor, other healthcare professionals. For example, specialist psychiatric nurse, occupational therapist, a social worker. Prefer not to say. Other, please state. 3. Who did you or the person receiving PIP receive support from to submit your or their claim? Carer, family member, a friend, a support organisation, for example, Citizens Advice, a health or social care professional. Other, please state. 4. We may want to follow up further information with you, or quote your evidence in our report. If you are happy for us to contact you, please provide the following details: name, address, email, telephone number. Further evidence. During the PIP claim process, claimants can send any relevant evidence they have that helps explain their circumstances. We refer to this as further evidence. This may include prescription lists, care plans, reports, or information from professionals who help the claimant, such as GPs, hospital doctors, specialist nurses, occupational therapists, etc. Assessment providers ATOS or Capita can ask for additional evidence to help them assess claimants. Most assessments require face-to-face consultation, but this may not be needed if there is sufficient evidence to make an assessment. 5. In addition to your claim form, did you send any further evidence as part of your claim? If yes, what was this? 6. Was it clear what further evidence you should or should not provide? Please briefly explain your answer. 7. When you submitted the claim, how important did you think it was to submit further evidence? Why? 8. Where you had access to additional evidence, how easily were you able to submit this evidence? Please briefly explain your answer. 9. If you went through the appeal system, did you provide further evidence? Why? Data sharing. Looking at whether further data should be shared across the department and externally with other organisations, such as the health and social care sector, to improve the support offered to claimants. Could also include sharing of information between DWP benefit systems, such as Employment Support Allowance, ESA, and PIP. Personal information would need to be subject to appropriate data protection, as set out in the DWP's Personal Information Charter. 10. Have you previously submitted other evidence to the Department for Work and Pensions, for example, from previous benefit claims, that you feel was relevant or should have been considered in the claim for PIP? What was this? 11. Are there other parts of government, for example, the NHS, social services, that hold information on you, that you feel was relevant or should have been considered in your PIP claim? If yes, what was this? 12. If you had other evidence available that you felt would be relevant, would you consider submitting this as part of the PIP claim? Why? 13. Would you feel comfortable with the department sharing information between different benefit systems or with other parts of government, such as the health and social care sector, to support your PIP claim? Please briefly explain your answer. Claimant experience. Consider the PIP claim process. This includes making a claim, the assessment, and getting a decision. 14. Overall, how satisfied were you with the claim process? Why? 15. Could anything have improved your face-to-face consultation with ATOS or Capita? Please briefly explain your answer. 16. Did you ask DWP to reconsider its original decision on your entitlement to PIP? If so, please tell us about your experience of the reconsideration process. 17. Did you appeal your PIP decision? If so, please tell us about your experience of the appeals process. 18. Have you had experience of other similar assessments? For example, a social care assessment, an occupational health assessment, a work capability assessment,